Good morning, children. Welcome to another session of skeletal and nervous system. Today we are going to learn about nervous system. Nervous system is one of the most important systems of our body. It controls all other systems and sense organs. All the activities like walking, laughing, thinking, and learning are controlled by the nervous system. The main parts of the system are brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Coming to the broad classification of nervous system, it can be classified into two, that is, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system again classified into autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Again, autonomic nervous system is classified into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Whereas the nerves concerned to the somatic nervous system are called as efferent nerves and efferent nerves. This is the broad classification of nervous system. Once again, at a glance, what is nervous system? It is one of the important systems of animal body which helps to maintain the balance of the human body. Balance of the human body, the scientific term used is homeostasis. A series of sensory receptors work with the nervous system, provide information about changes in both the internal and external environments. The human nervous system is a complex of interconnected systems in which larger systems are comprised of smaller subsystems, each of which have specific structures with specific functions. Now, coming to the nervous system is nothing but compared to a highway along which our brain sends and receives information about what is happening in the body and around it. This highway is made up of billions of nerve cells called as neurons, which join together to make nerves. Structure and function of a nerve cell. The nerve cell is made up of two main parts, that is the cell body, which is also known as cyton, and axon. The axon are also called nerve fibers. A bundle of nerve fibers will be present in the axon. Each nerve is composed of bundle of fibers. There are many or thousands or billions of fibers in a single nerve. Our body has a network of nerves to carry messages from the brain to other parts of the body. Nerves are of three types: sensory nerves, motor nerves, and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves are the nerves that carry messages from the brain to other parts of the body. That is only from the sense organs, that is eyes, nose, tongue, ears, and skin, to the brain and the spinal cord. Whereas Motor nerves are the nerves carry messages from the brain or the other spine or the spinal cord to the different parts, that is muscles or glands of the body. Mixed nerves, these carry messages to the brain as well as bring orders from the brain. Now, once again at a glance, the neurons are the nerve cells. These are the basic elements of the nervous system. This is called as cell body or cyton. The extended part is known as axon. These are made up of by bundle of nerve fibers. The ends of the axon or the nerve fibers are split into several branches known as dendrites. The terminal part, that is the end of the axon, will have terminal end fibers. It's a network which is comprised of three types of nerves. So the central nerve, coming to the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord make up the central nervous system. The brain lies in the cranium and is protected in the skull, and from there controls all the body functions by sending and receiving messages through the nerves. There are two types of peripheral nervous system, that is autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. The peripheral nervous system, PNS, is a connection of peripheral nerves, ganglia, and specialized sensory structures that as a system carries sensory and motor information between the central nervous system and all other organs and tissues of the body. The peripheral nervous system is functionally divided into two major divisions, that is sensory or efferent division, the motor or efferent division. The somatic nervous system is, here it is present. This is the autonomic nervous system. This is the spinal cord and these are the peripheral nerves. Now in this picture, it was clearly shown the peripheral nervous system send a pain signal to the brain. The brain analyzes the pain signal and it is sends the protective signal to the arm or muscles. The peripheral nerves, these are the peripheral nerves. This is the spinal cord and this is the brain. These are the nerves. Now coming to autonomic nervous system carries impulses from the central nervous system to the glands and various smooth muscles, cardiac muscle, and various membranes. It stimulates organs, glands, and senses. This is how the autonomic nervous system works. That is, it is divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. So cardiac muscles, it increases the contractibility, increases the heart rate, decreases the heart. Parasympathetic decreases the heart rate, decreases the contractility. And sympathetic dilates the pupil. Dilates means expansion, makes the size of the pupil big, whereas parasympathetic constricts, make it small. Inhibits salivation, stimulates salivation. That means it helps in producing the saliva, whereas it inhibits, that is control the salival oozing. is here bronchial dilation, bronchial contraction. It stimulates digestion, that is gastric juices, whereas it inhibits the gut. Inhibition is nothing but stops, not totally, but reduces. It stimulates glucose to release by liver. It stimulates gallbladder. It contracts bladder, and it is also stimulates epinephrine, that is kidney cells, and also relaxes the bladder, contracts the rectum and orgasm, and this is also vaginal lubrication, erection, uh, relaxes rectum. So just the opposite functions these two systems will carry out. Now, coming to somatic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is responsible for receiving and processing sensory input from the skin, muscles, tendons, joints, eyes, tongue, nose and ears, as well as excite the voluntary contraction of skeletal muscles. Now, these are the two types of nerves. Sensory nerves are afferent versus motor efferent. Sensory nerves, afferent, that is neuron that sends a signal from the senses, skin, muscles, and internal organs to the central nervous system. Motor nerves, the neurons that transmits the commands from the central nervous system to the muscles, glands, and organs. Coming to, once again, this is the central nervous system, and this is the spinal cord, and this is the peripheral nervous system. This is the brain. Neuron contains a cell body, the main processing center of the cell. Dendrites, the branching extensions of the cell body that conduct nerve impulses toward the cell body. Axon, a single branch which conducts nerve impulses away from the cell body. Myelin sheath and neurilamina are the coverings. Neurons impulse transmission. Terminal end fibers, what you have seen in the picture, are located at the ends of the axon, and they transmit impulses leaving the neurons across synapse to the next neuron. This is how the nerves, the three types of neurons will work. This is sensory neuron, the first one. These are the dendrites. This is the cell body. This is the axon. Next cell body, relay neuron. This is called as the next neuron. These are connected by the axon and dendrites. This is the motor neurons axon. Impulse transmission. Terminal end fibers are located at the ends of the axon, and they transmit impulses leaving the neuron across a synapse to next neuron. The three types of neurons are sensory neuron, relay neuron, and motor neuron. These are the dendrites, and this is the axon. This is the cell body, and this is the relay neuron, the second one. Moves through the axon to the cell body of the another, that is motor neuron. From there, it reaches to the muscles. What is meant by synapse? Suppose two neurons, that is nerve cells are there. There will be a transmitter that is called as neurotransmitter in between these two neurons. All neurons have two basic properties, that is excitability and conductivity. There are three types of neurons: efferent neurons, that is motor neurons, which conveys information from the CNS to muscles and glands, that is from central nervous system to muscles and glands. Efferent neurons, those are the sensory neurons, which carry information from sensory receptors to the CNS. Sensory receptors is all from the sense organs to the central nervous system. Then interneuron, that is, they carry and process sensory information. Once again, at a glance, we will see the structure of the brain. That is, the brain is like a master computer and controls all the activities of our body. The human brain is grayish pink in color and looks like a walnut. It has many folds on its surface, which are known as meninges. It is situated at the top of the spinal cord. The brain is very delicate. Brain is surrounded by a bony box called cranium inside the skull. The skull protects it from shocks and jerks. Brain is also protected by a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid present in between the membranes, that is called meninges. Now, the major parts of the brain are cerebrum. It's the largest part of the brain. It has many folds and grooves. It helps us remember things, understand meanings, and solve problems. Thus, it is called the center of intelligence. It is also controls our sense organs. Next is cerebellum. It is the small egg-shaped part and lies below the cerebrum at the back of the head. It controls our muscles, muscle activities, and helps us balance our body during movement. Next, the extension of the brain is called medulla oblongata or brain stem. It is the lower portion of the brain. It joins brain to the spinal cord. Involuntary actions like heartbeat, breathing, and sneezing are controlled by it. It is active even when we sleep. Then the extension of this medulla oblongata is nothing but the spinal cord. It is a thick bundle of nerves that connects the brain to all body parts. It starts from the back portion of the brain, that is medulla oblongata, and continues down to the lower end of our backbone. It's protected by the vertebral column or the spine. Now, coming to what do you mean by reflex action? A reflex action is an automatic reaction of the body to a stimulation. The reflex action allows fast reaction. These type of actions are not controlled by the brain. They are controlled by the spinal cord. When we touch something hot, the sensory nerves in the fingers carry a message of pain from the skin to the spinal cord. The spinal cord sends order to the hand to pull it back through the motor nerves. Some other examples of reflex actions are coughing, sneezing, blinking, watering of mouth on looking at some tasty food, etc. That is, before reaching the brain, the stimulus message will be sent by the spinal cord, which is known as reflex action. And coming to the questionnaire session, once again, at a glance, all the slides. Now, what do you understand by the term nervous system? What does the basic unit of the nervous system do? How many types of neurons are there? What are their functions? You spot a spider of your leg. Explain how your body takes an action to remove it instantly. What is the difference between the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system? This is your homework. Thank you, children.